The build to Night of Champions in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia continued Friday night on the USA Network with the latest episode of Smackdown, headlined by a showdown between undisputed WWE champion John Cena and R-Truth. The semi-final of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments also kicked off with Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Alexa Bliss and Asuka vying to advance to the finals, but we kicked things off with R-Truth against Cena, who wrote the latest chapter in their rivalry with a match that ended unsatisfactory. The moment the babyface got the upper hand on Cena, the undisputed champion fled with his title, not willing to let the heel escape. Truth followed him, only to suffer a title shot to the face. Punk's music played almost immediately abroad in tube between Cena delivered a title shot to the face of his Night Champions opponent. He retrieved the table and drove him through it. From there, he retrieved the microphone and proceeds to cut his vision of the Pipe Mod, scathingly criticising Punk and dropping a few truth bombs, all to the delight of the WWE fans, and a nod to history in Cena's delivery. He stood tall to close out the segment. Cena's delivery was great. The content would have the universe buzzing, and it made his sense within the context of his and Punk's story. With that said, it felt like a tonal misfire. Is there a point for Cena to use this? There's already a significant portion of the audience who made it clear that they do not want to boo him on his way out. Why make it more difficult to achieve to get one-liners? Punk will tide his way back in the future. It was his next appearance on the bike, but this felt like an unnecessary addition to a segment that could and should have ended with Cena heel heat. Days after costing Bronson Reed the fatal four-waking of the ring quarter-final match on Raw, LA Knight kicked off Friday's show, wasting no time addressing his bossman rivalry with Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, drawing the wise man out to the ring. Heyman to leave before something bad happened to him, but Knight, ever defiant babyface, refused. Breaker and Reed arrived, but the megastar fended them off with a steel chair to the dismay of the heels. A fairly standard opening segment and eventually set up the match that we got a Knight v Reed later on. But yeah, it was only announced a little bit later, so yeah, it was alright. Before we got the Queen of the Ring between Asuka and Alexa Bliss, two of the most decorated superstars in women's wrestling and familiar foes did battle in the first semi-final of the Queen of the Ring tournament as Bliss and Asuka fought it out. A break and forth match full of reversals and counters gave way to the late moment of hesitation by Bliss that cost her dealing. After resisting a twisted Bliss attempt, she found herself caught in her opponent's grasp, only to recover and down Asuka once more. A failed twisted Bliss led to her downfall as the Empress of Tomorrow scored the pinfall victory. A solid match saw the right competitor cash her ticket to Queen of the Ring final. Bliss the star and is over of any women on the roster this side of Rhea Ripley, but Asuka has momentum following her return, and I think she's probably the right choice here, so yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Before Alice Black could then square off with Kit Wilson, a Pretty Deadly, Ron Collins attacked forcing Wilson unconscious with an STF. JV Noble then talked the unhinged babyface down to close things out and left Black wondering what just happened. Back in the arena, Cody Rhodes took to the squared circle to address the King of the Ring tournament and his semi-final with Jey Uso. The former world champion wasted no time rejoining his former tag championship partner in the ring. A back and forth ensued before Sami Zayn interrupted and reiterated his desire to win his world title. Orton interrupted and vowed to win King of the Ring with challenge Cena at WrestleMania. Reigns did not speak, leaving the fans with cliffhanger as to regards to what was next. An absurdly long segment with lengthy entrances. I'm intrigued what's next though. Before we got Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton. For the second year in a row, Orton's headed to the final of the King of the Ring, cashing his tickets, outlasting again Zayn, whose drive to be competition fueled him, bringing him within seconds of defeating the future Hall of Famer. Late in the match, he avoided one RKO attempt and set up for the Hoover kick. As he launched himself across the squared circle, though, the Viper struck, delivering his trademark finisher for the W. There is a real argument to be made that Zayn was the right man to win here, setting up a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, but the teasers for Orton v Rose has been strong lately, and bringing the former mentor and protege together for the first of what should be many battles is probably the right decision. Whether the latest heartbreak forces Zayn towards darkness hinted by Karrion Kross now bears watching, but I think could be intriguing. Before, moments after Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton interrupted the promo for Nia Jax, coming face to face with her enemy and announcing a last women's standing match for next Friday, the irresistible force laid out a reigning title holder and left her lying. Looking to capitalise on the opening, Naomi rushed the ring with Money in the Bank briefcase, looking to cash in. Jax stopped her, an argument ensued, and Stratton left both lying to close things out. And with that, we have a relatively shallow tease born of another showdown between Stratton and Jax. This match should be fun. Naomi will tease another cash in, but the title picture on Fridays appears to be on a creative treadmill until it occurs. Before we got Charlotte Flair taking on Chelsea Green, and born of a backstage confrontation, the two former champs did battle in a competitive match saw Flair weather the storm, overcoming a focused and determined opponent to submit her with a figure eight. After the match, Niven and Fire attacked the victor until Alexa Bliss made the save, clearing the ring, and still considerable mistrust between Bliss and Flair. That's going to be an intriguing storyline to watch down the line as well. So yeah, very intrigued by that. Before The US champion Jacob Fatu has and continues to see through Kerr's lies and manipulation, refusing his cousin's claims of love and respect, through telling the Timu tribal chief that he only uses Samoan warehouse to pop himself up. Fatu challenged Sikoa to fight him for the US championship, and when he attempted a sneak attack, Fatu cut him off. JC Mateo then made a save for the heel, only for Jimmy Uso to even things up. Fatu cleared the heels to bring this to a close. It was a strong segment. Fatu's really kind of unique character saw it off, and the way he delivers it as well was great. So yeah, good stuff. Before we got LA Knight versus Bronson Reed in the main event, and the results of the events earlier in the show, LA Knight squared off with Reed, and also it was a competitive match throughout. It ended in chaos as Bron Breakker interfered on behalf of his associated, spearing Knight and drawing a DQ. From there, the former IC champion joined his partner in brutalising Knight, leaving him with a line chorus of boos. Much to the delight of Paul Heyman. After weeks of Knight getting the best of the heels, he was levelled here. So yeah, I think it's going to force him to fight back, and yeah, be intriguing to see what Brown starts on given the rumours. But yeah, good stuff I'd say. So he gets 6 out of 10 from me. Overall, SmackDown gets a 6 out of 10 from me. As hype for a pay-per-view kind of worked. The two tournament semi-finals were great, and the show closing segment, though turning off, was bus-worthy. In between, there was some decent stuff, and while there were a few hiccups, the 3-hour hurdle was kind of the main issue for SmackDown still with me. Hey so guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.